Alright, so you're about to see a 15-minute video of me working on this motorcycle over the course of 2 years. Got about 90% of the footage that I ever recorded, because getting the videos from Snapchat to my phone to my computer, very difficult, not streamlined at all. So, sorry if anything seems out of order or misplaced. But from this point forward, everything will be saved to my camera, and will be easier to upload to YouTube for any future videos if I decide to make any. And all these clips and some extra clips will be uploaded to like the shorts section.
So I made a little oopsie poopsie on this here motorcycle. Finally decided to start working on it again. You got this wire here, runs down to the stator, magnetos or alternator, whatever you want to call it, and then you got your 12-volt regulator. Comes out here, and these are supposed to plug into each other, but they don't. I have the biggest fucking boner right now. Ready for this bad boy? All right, see blue lights on, right? Ready for this? All right, brothers, here we go. Fucking key in the box to the on position. Kill switch, and just fucking... I don't have no fucking gas in it, but I got it fucking running. So we'll fucking finally, had her out running around. Got her riding around the fucking neighborhood. Going all that shit, but down here is all fucking oily and shit because it fucking leaks oil. I gotta pull the heads off. You just take this whole big piece and just... So another update, not a good one. So here's the camshaft, right? There's a lot of scoring on these lobes. You can't get this little rocker up all the way, but there's some pretty bad scoring. But that's not even the worst part. The oil's kind of sparkly. Welcome to today's episode of building a Honda CX500. In today's episode, we get to use a little thing that caveman invented called fire, and we gotta heat this motherfucker up right here. New heads showed up. They're slightly different, not as good as I wanted them to be. These exhaust, where the exhaust manifold studs are, they are different, It's a pretty good size difference right there. Then it has this one, the new ones have these two holes. These ones don't. And then also, this is flush. This one's not, but you can probably just slap a spacer in there and get that motherfucker to bolt on. So, first issue with the new heads is the little fan shroud. This little piece right here can't go all the way back, so it can't bolt into the motor because the heads are too fucking big. On today's episode of Fixing This Old Motorcycle, today we're doing our first true customization by cutting shit up. This is the fan shroud, and this is the front engine mount. So, on this engine mount, we had to cut out here, as you can see, that's what it looked like. We had to cut this out because of the newer head. It is ugly as shit, but who gives a damn? And then on the fan shroud, this used to kind of come in and just kind of slope down. We had to cut that flat on both sides because this butts up against the new heads. So I wasn't really worried about the fan shroud because that's easy, that's just sheet metal, but god damn it, it fucking fits. This right here is where it was buttoned up against, and we had to cut it out. Now the next big thing is I gotta make sure that the exhaust sits on here properly. So one thing that I was worried about with these exhaust flanges was if drilling the hole too big would get into right here. It's a little close for comfort for me, honestly. But one thing I didn't even think about was whether or not these fucking studs, let me get it on here, I can't really see. Ugh. I wonder if these studs would be fucking long enough. Alright, so today we're gonna make exhaust flange for the CX500. And to do that, we're going to use this 1/4-inch steel to make a new flange with the grinder. It's not going to be pretty, but it's going to work. I don't know shit about metal, but if you know what any of this information means, have at it. But how you transfer this, you can Sharpie it around and stuff, but the easiest way, easiest way, take some spray paint, get in all those holes, and once you spray paint it, that's what it's going to look like. You know, your table's going to be a little nasty, but that's fine. You know, that's why it's a workbench. But then you're going to take your grinder out, and you're going to cut all that jazz out. All right, so here we go. We cut it out, and now we just got to take it little by little and just kind of go around, trying to shape it up as best we can. And then once we kind of get close to what we want, I'll show you what to do after that so you get your holes drilled. So it's done, and it's probably the ugliest goddamn piece of metal that I've ever cut, but I've never actually cut metal. So, I mean, if the goal was to put a hole in some metal, I'd fucking did it. Okay, so these ones are being a little bit more stubborn. You can see I'm kind of fucking them up, really not wanting to do that. So we're going to use man's oldest tool. We got right side studs out, and they're out. But the reason I'm doing this is just because this isn't going to work. I've looked into it, and to get the bit that would cut a big enough hole for this is like $80, and I don't want to spend $80 to make 2 holes. All right, I did it. I made it work. I hauled this out enough to get this pipe in here, and then I took the old angle grinder to it. I can get this motherfucker out now, but cut the flange. It's not perfect, it's not square, but you know, that's what gaskets are for. But now it sits flush, so it'll sit flush against the head, and then we can weld on some exhaust to the end. Sitting here like, yeah, you know, I got the tack on, and I started welding. I was like, I'm gonna go to the other side and start tacking in and welding, and then I burnt a fucking hole. I'm not even going that, like, oh my god, how do people do this shit? So this is it, mock mounted up right now. It's, I mean, way too short to be doing this, and you wouldn't want it going this way in the airflow because it just shoot air back up. But I just need to get a 90, and then we're just gonna dump it right here. Alrighty, so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this out. We're gonna just grind down. These are the only welds holding it on. Just a little grind, and then this will come out. This will make it easier to get this ammo box in and out. And then I got some thin sheet metal that we're gonna add words to make it fit. So I got to cut off, and then I used the Bush light box to kind of make the shape of what I'm going for here. This back here I'm going to have for wires to pass through, because I'm going to have to make something back here so I can make a license plate and rear light holder. There's a couple little small electronics that are going to go in here that can't fit inside the ammo can, but I think this shape here is what I'm going to have to end up going with. See how it turns out. So I just got to get the rest of the wires routed, but this is the coolest fucking thing ever. You just take the key, put it inside the ammo box, and you turn it on. Key on. Yeah, key's on. There's a little carb cleaner in there. Oh. So if you look like right here, you're like, oh, that's not too bad of a weld, you know, it's not too bad. And you're like, you know, could have used a little bit more penetration. And then you come down here and you're like, what the fuck is this? What is this? It's because this metal's too thin, and so when I'm welding, the metal's melting away from the weld, so it's just kind of gooping down. Super ugly. So I'm gonna cut all this off, and I went and got some thicker metal to weld. This one says weldable steel, so we'll see how true that is. Okay, so now it's making a fucking noise that I don't like. It's real bad. Listen. No, now it's not gonna do it apparently. I've been out here working on this for a while, just because I've kind of lost a little bit of motivation. It made a noise that I didn't like, so I haven't tried to start it since. But I replaced the garage door, and this came off of the old one, and this is like some pretty gnarly looking steel. And I was thinking about attaching it right here to the shifter. You know, it's adjustable too. Attaching it to the shifter here and making like a little mock suicide shifter. I think that'd be pretty neat.
got the battery charged, got the tank back on. I think I got everything hooked up the way it's supposed to. We're gonna crank it and see if we can get some fire coming out of it. So I didn't get it on video yesterday because my neighbor was over here watching me work on it, but I had it running before I could get it. Had it running this cylinder here. I wasn't getting any exhaust coming out of this here. Checked the spark plug. It was fouled out. It's like, oh, maybe no spark. And then still no exhaust. Took the valve cover off, and then the left push rod had actually fallen out of the cup and was just kind of chilling on top of the camshaft. Nothing's bent and everything's working fine. Don't know how the hell it happened. Been running it for a little bit. It's acting fine. It's weird shit. Yeah, we got her. Got her fucking running, brother. Today's adventure, found me a piece of 90. These are the adapters that'll fit onto the exhaust that's on there now. This side doesn't have one, so I got this little adapter, which slides over this. So I'm gonna weld this together and then cut off the skinny piece to make it work. Put those longer pipes on there, it sounds a lot better. Sounds a lot better than it did. Now, we have a tracing of the gasket, and we're gonna take a razor knife and trim all that out, and then we'll have a new gasket. So here's the old gasket. And here's the new one I just made. It's pretty close, I'd say. Looks pretty solid. I'd give it like a 7 out of 10. Gonna put some ultra black around here, just a little dab, and then we're gonna put the gasket on here, put a little bit on the back of that, run the bolts through, then get them lined up on the engine. So we're gonna be putting this on here. We're making a headlight. And we got some issues, so I don't like this. Gonna have to go around the fork like that, but also it's gonna interfere with the choke maybe a little bit, but we'll see. Probably overkill for this bike. It's kind of a big fucking light, but you know, is what it is. So we got it wired up. We got some solder splices. I got an inline fuse for the battery lead. I went from red to white because the wiring diagram for the ECM calls for a white wire for the low light, but it also says it needs 3 wires for the headlight, and this one's only got 2. So we'll see what it's all about. So we got everything set up and wired. Got this one here is connected to the battery directly. This one goes to the low beam connector, and then this hand controls on this have a low high beam setting, so we're gonna put that there and see. Not a goddamn thing. Fuck me. So I got these are the old brake lights that came off the bike. I'm gonna try to wire these up and see if they work, to make sure that this is functioning properly and that this is functioning properly, because I know this works, because if you hit it directly to the battery, it works. But I need to make sure that the ECM and the way that the light is wired up is correct. So I'm going to try hooking these wires up based off the wiring diagram and see if I can get them to work, to kind of rule out and make sure that terminal's functioning properly. Well, I'll try to figure out why these wires aren't working. I do have the sticker that I've been wanting to put on here. I think now is probably the best time, and it's what the fresh hell is this? Just that way the next person that works on this maybe looks at this and just says that. So we got the light wired up. I'm not gonna run it off the ECM. I have a on-off switch that I went and bought right here, so I can just tie it directly to the battery and then just have it on demand. And then I'm gonna put it here. I cut out a little bracket. I got it painting right now. It's drying, and then we'll put that on there, and this is where the switch is gonna be for it. Back on my shit again. We got the motor pulled out of it again. Again, same issue as always. Clutch not worky. I think this might have something to do with it, because I think it's supposed to be like there. I think it's supposed to be right there when it's ready. But there's a lot of play in here, and I can't find the thing that says where it's supposed to be. There's like, oh, it's just supposed to be. It's on there. So something neat about these motorcycles, to get the fan out, you take the rear axle off the bike, and there's two little flat spots, so you can get a crescent wrench on here. And you gotta twist it and smack it, and it will eventually pop itself out. So this motor might be cooked. I don't know if you can see that in there. It's all some of that sludge, you know, just like even when you change your oil and like in your car, you can't get every little piece out of there. So some of this is 40-year-old oil, but yeah, I'm hoping it's clutch material, but that much in the engine, not bueno.